Hello YouTube. In this video we're going to do a safety briefing. Whenever you get new crew on board your boat, or old crew haven't been for a good while, you must conduct a good safety briefing. So remind everybody what they need to do. The more you repeat it, the more it goes in. So I use a list to keep me on track. But we don't go through every item with every crew member. If people are only coming on a day sail and they're not really that interested in sailing, we're not going offshore, then things like operating bilge pumps and operating the navigation systems to get us back to shore in the event of the navigator or captain being or skipper being incapacitated, won't bother doing that. When we've got a crew, we're going away for a few days, or we're going far offshore, doing a distance passage or something like that, or certainly if we're doing night sailing, then it's a much more comprehensive, we go deeper. But usually those people have got more experience, so we don't have to do some of the basic stuff. First on the list then is always life jackets. So in the crew cabins we have life jacket locker under this cushion, and in here there are two life jackets which have crutch straps, and there are two harness lines, and in addition there's also two emergency thermal protective aids or TPAs. So you are given the life jacket, you're shown how to adjust it to your size, how to obviously put it on, and how to fasten it, how to attach the crutch strap, and we don't normally do this for short passages or day sails, but for longer passages, or if we know there's rough weather coming up, we'll also, or night sailing, we'll issue, and everyone is issued with these with a safety line, but they'll be shown how to attach their safety line, and also where the clip-on points are around the boat. If we know we're going to be in for a long sail or lots of night sailing or lots of rough weather, we'll put the jack stays out on the side decks as well. The decks on this boat are very narrow, so if you've got the jack stay, it's quite easy to slip on the jack stay, and actually they're more of a hazard when they're on than they are when they're not. So we open the toggle, pull that, and then give a sharp tug. And there we are. Got the light. Now this is salt activated, so it comes on automatically when there's water in it. I'll just lick my finger to make that work. Obviously if I need to top it up, as they say in the aircrafts, use the valve there. And of course there's a whistle as well here. There we go. One instruction we give to all guests, even on short day sails, and especially people who are new to boating and perhaps haven't had that much experience, is an instruction on how to use a sea toilet. So the process is as follows. In order to drain the liquid, we use the drain switch. That side, unlock the handle, that's locked to stop it coming up with it. So unlock it and lift it up. As you see, the liquid disappears. And then to flush, we then switch to the flush position. That's the flush position. And then, again, just pop in the handle, it brings in the seawater from outside to flush and drain. And then, at the end, we switch it back to the dry bowl position and then lock the handle. So we have to carry the full gamut of first aid kits, but we go a little bit further. So this is a little emergency one. We can take that with us on shore if we need to, or a dinghy party, but that's kind of got just the emergency, like the basics. It's still a proper first aid kit, but it's a nice little portable one, so it has the usual stuff in there. But the big one This box doesn't come off, it's bolted on. But inside we have a further first aid kit. That's the main one that is the, if you like, the certified one. That's the one that gets our certification. We've got a dental kit. We've got an Israeli bandage sealed up here. And then we've also got a CPR mask. So in the cabin, each one of the guest cabins, there is a fire extinguisher. Now in the two after cabins, there is no escape hatch other than going out through the main door. If the main cabin was filled with smoke, you would struggle to get out of the companionway. The only way out is through the smoke. So these smoke hoods have been added to the two after cabins in order that two occupants that might be in here can go into a smoke-filled cabin and get out the companionway. They only last for a few minutes, but that's all you need to get out of the cabin and up the companionway and out to safety. So the most prominent fire extinguisher is this one. It's near the companionway, so you can easily get it out and fight a fire this way by going down the companionway steps. But also, if there's an engine fire, here there is a fire port, and this is where we would direct the jet. We push that rubber bung through, and then we release the fire extinguisher and hopefully extinguish the fire through the fire port without having to open this and letting air in to fuel the fire. There's also one outside in the aft starboard locker. Got the obligatory fire blanket, which you can pull out and put straight onto the cooker, which is just there. And speaking of the cooker, when we're at sea, we cook using butane, which lives on its own little locker in the cockpit. This locker has a drain hole which goes over the side, so if there's a gas leak, it doesn't make its way inside the boat at all. And the isolator is here on the regulator. We have a little warning notice explaining what we need to do if we smell gas, but we're also fitted with a gas alarm. There's another gas isolator in this cupboard under the oven. There are obvious hazards when cooking in rough weather or when the boat's heeling under sail, so the cooker is fitted with gimbals allowing the stove to move with the boat. And there are pan clamps to keep things from falling off. The gimbal is always locked off when in port. Confidence has two hatches which are large enough to be used as escape hatches. One in the forecabin, the other in the saloon. The forecabin bunk makes egress or indeed entry literally child's play, whilst the saloon hatch can be accessed by standing on the table. So there's one section on this list that is crew welfare, and that's kind of really for longer passages. It's not for a quick day sail in the sunshine. So in that one, we're talking about clothing. What is the appropriate type of clothing? Now, on our website, we publish a sort of a guide and the kind of things that you should and shouldn't wear. So we always say technical clothing, many layers. Jeans aren't always good because they can carry water and stay heavy. And obviously, lots of warm clothing, even if you're going out in the summer, you know, hats, gloves, windproof coats, weatherproof stuff. Seasickness. We talk about seasickness because it is a real thing. It's on a short day sail. You really don't need to worry about that if you're going out in calm conditions. Anybody who's ill, you're just going to either cut the trip short and get them back as quickly as possible. We carry a variety of different seasickness remedies on board, just the tablets, and we also have these sea bands. Now these sea bands, I've got the little wristbands that you put on. And there's a pressure point here, which if you are feeling sick, sometimes applying pressure there can, acupressure, can reduce the effects of seasickness. And of course, food and drink. Now, on this boat, food and drink is usually taken care of. I do all the shopping beforehand to make sure that the recipes and the cooking and the meal plan is all sorted out depending on the type of journey we're going away for. If we're going away for several days, then obviously there's lots of meals. But making sure that you've got access to snacks. So this is a little snack piece here. Pull this away, and there you see is the crisps and the chocolate and the biscuits are kept in there. and anybody can go and get any of that whenever they're feeling hungry. It's important to have those things. Obviously, proper meals, balanced meals are also essential, but really you've got to make sure that your crew are entirely comfortable in getting water, drinks, and food needs, because if they're not comfortable just going to can I have a packet of crisps, then they might just sit there being hungry, and you know, we're involved in the sailing of the boat, and sometimes if I'm not hungry I forget other people might be. So it's important to make sure that your crew are comfortable with what the food arrangements are. It's not just about what we're going to have for dinner. That might be the captain's responsibility or the skipper's responsibility, but the crew need to be able to actually regulate their own their own sugar levels, their own energy levels, their own drinks and dehydration levels. So we make sure that all crew are issued with a plastic water bottle, and coloured tape identifies each individual crew member's water bottle. We sterilise these in between trips, but in general, you give them one of these and you can fill it up from the tap as much as you like, and take a drink. Probably the most important piece of safety equipment we have aboard is the VHF radio. And so our Mayday procedure and our calling procedure is absolutely vital to explaining to all crew members what to do in the event of emergency. Even on a day scale, if for any reason the skipper is incapacitated, falling in, passing out, and is no longer able to command the vessel, is that a danger to life? You certainly need to call for help, and the best way to call for help on a boat is using a VHF. So we have a Mayday procedure written up here. It's also here in a cockpit card. For longer offshore passages or passages at night, we would always do a flare briefing as well as part of the safety briefing. So we carry a full set of flares. We have to carry those because we're a commercially registered vessel, but actually I think in an emergency this would probably be the favourite, which is the LED flare. And this is a pretty impressive piece of equipment, and it runs on batteries. Twist base to operate, that's it. No heat, no danger, and no expiry date. So that's mine for life. Another safety feature in each cabin, on top of every wardrobe we have these clip-on little spotlights, so that we've got a torch for every crew member. There's also torches in the companionway and main torches that we get out for night sailing, the big powerful ones. In the port hand cockpit locker is our Liferaft. This is our smaller 4-man raft. We own this one and it stays on the boat at all times. We also carry a larger ISO compliant 8-person Liferaft in a canister which sits on the cradle on the coach roof, but we only hire that one in when the boat's on charter. That one contains a Solas Class B grab bag. For a man overboard situation, we have a danbuoy and a life ring. The plan here is to mark the casualty with a danbuoy. Travelling at 5 knots, it's amazing how objects get smaller very quickly. The hardest part of a man overboard is the recovery, especially if the casualty is fatigued. So we have a throwing line with an integral harness. You can throw the line at the casualty and then haul them back in toward the boat. The integral strop can easily be slipped around the casualty and is strong enough to hoist up to 175 kilograms, which is 27 stone. In the event of losing the mast, it's important to be able to cut the rigging away to free wreckage that might cause injury to the crew or further damage to the boat. These bolt cutters are capable of cutting through the shrouds and stays, as well as having other uses in an emergency. These wires connect the steering wheel to the rudder stock. In the event that this mechanism fails in any way, we carry an emergency tiller. Access to the rudder stock is via this small hatch, and then the tiller slots directly on, allowing you to steer the boat safely home. If the boat takes on water, we have two independent bilge pump systems that will help get rid of it. The first is an automatic electric bilge pump. Turned on by a water-operated switch, the pump can get rid of up to 30 litres every minute. There is the option to manually override the automatic element, and the pump is the only device on the boat that's wired directly to the batteries and isn't turned off by the main battery isolator. The second system is manual, and it's hand operated from the cockpit. Almost all boats have several through-hull connectors to allow wastewater out or seawater in. To protect against the failure of a hose, underwater through-hull fittings should be protected by a suitable seacock. When the handle is in line with the hose, the seacock is open. When the handle is at 90 degrees, it's closed. The wooden bungs are provided to block the holes if the through-hull fitting fails. So that's it, the key points of the safety briefing aboard Confidence. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, it really helps the channel. And thanks for watching.